Today I'm going to talk about the most effective way to shed that stubborn body fat, and most importantly, how to keep it off for good. You see, a lot of folks turn to weight loss companies and sure they might drop some pounds initially, but they end up gaining it all back. Why?
I don't know.
Well, they never learn how to maintain their progress. If you're serious about getting rid of that body fat forever, you gotta get a grip on one hormone, insulin. Now there are other hormones involved, but insulin is the big cheese when it comes to packing on the pounds. Once you finish eating, your body has a choice to make. It's like a little decision-making machine, deciding what to do with all that energy from your food.
I feel like I don't know what to do.
It can either store it for immediate use or stash it away for a rainy day when times get tough.
Clever.
Our bodies are always thinking ahead, always planning for the future. It's how we have evolved, my friend. Now, where your body decides to store that fat depends on two things: the type of food you eat and how you eat it. You see, every food comes with its own set of hormonal instructions. When you gobble it up, those instructions tell your body exactly what to do with it. If you're truly committed to shedding body fat, it's crucial to pay close attention to the foods you consume. It's all about making the right choices, my friend. The hormone you really need to keep in check is insulin. Insulin is responsible for storing energy in your body. So how can you control insulin?
How would I know it?
Well, the first thing you can do is skip breakfast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. When you have a typical breakfast with all that porridge, sugar, cereal, toast and bread, your insulin levels shoot up. Your body thinks it needs to save all that energy for a rainy day because your insulin levels are too high. And what happens next? Your body starts craving more glucose and sugar. It's like a never-ending cycle. But if you skip breakfast, your body gets used to it. You'll find that you won't feel hungry at all. Of course, if you are used to eating breakfast, don't just stop abruptly. You need to train your body to tap into its fat reserves before skipping breakfast.
In God's name, can I trust you?
It will make things a lot easier, trust me. Now let's talk about cutting down on sugar. And when I say sugar, I mean all those carbs and processed foods that we love to munch on. You know, the cookies, bagels and all that jazz? Turns out our bodies treat them just like sugar. They are called high glycemic foods.
What does that mean?
Which means they make our blood sugars shoot up real quick and trigger a rapid insulin response. Here's the deal. Everything we eat gets converted into glucose, and glucose is like the gold standard at 100 on the glycemic table. So the closer a food is to glucose on that table, the more it tells our body to store energy for a rainy day. And let me tell you, once your body decides to store energy, we are in trouble.
What will happen to me now?
We end up feeling tired, hungry, and even our moods get all wonky. So if you want to avoid all that, it's time to cut back on those high glycemic foods. Trust me, your body will thank you.
I trust you.
When I was bodybuilding, I used to talk about complex carbs and simple carbs and monosaccharides and disaccharides, guys. All carbohydrates are just glucose molecules arranged differently. So when you eat rice, for example, as soon as you put it in your mouth, it becomes a starch. But don't worry, enzymes in your saliva break it down right away. Your salivary glands release an enzyme called amylase and it gets to work breaking down the starch. So really there's not much difference between sugar and rice, or between porridge and rice, or even potatoes. If you want to lose fat and keep it off, remember that all these things are basically the same. Carbohydrates are just like sugar. We have been given the wrong information about food, so it's important to remember that. Some people might say, I don't eat cakes, but I eat rice and potatoes. But if you are trying to lose body fat, your body treats rice the same way it treats a piece of cake. So stay away from the carbs for a while. Once you reach a point where you feel better and have lost as much weight as you want, then you can slowly start bringing some of those carbs back into your diet. Remember, the reason why you gain body fat is because you are eating foods that tell your body to store energy for later. So if you want to lose weight and keep it off, it's time to stop eating those high glycemic foods like oats and such. Give them a break for a while and see the pounds melt away. Instead, focus on eating low glycemic foods. Now, when I say low glycemic foods, I mean foods that are low on the glycemic index. Remember, we talked about glucose earlier, which is set at 100. Everything is measured against glucose. The foods that are close to glucose are the worst for you in terms of fat gain.
What am I, fat?
On the other hand, low glycemic foods are way below in their 20s and 10s and 15s, much less than 100. When you eat these foods, your insulin levels remain constant because they don't trigger your hypothalamus and pancreas to release insulin quickly. Instead, the insulin releases gradually into your body, providing you with sustained energy throughout the day. Plus, it means your body taps into those stubborn fat cells. Remember, you can't access that stored body fat easily. If you are carrying around 30 pounds of body fat, that's over 1 lakh calories locked up. The key to unlocking it is by controlling insulin, and the best way to do that is by making sure you are eating low glycemic foods. So let's make smarter food choices and say goodbye to those high glycemic foods. Let's talk about foods that can help you maintain a steady sugar level. As a bodybuilder, I often discuss meal frequency. Back in the day, we used to believe in eating 6 high-carb meals a day. But now I know that was all nonsense. Whenever I finished eating, I would just fall asleep. If I were to approach bodybuilding now, I would do things completely differently.
What would you do?
We don't actually need to eat as many meals as we think. It's important to lower our meal frequency because every time we eat, our body releases insulin. And the more we eat, the more insulin floods our system, whether it's released slowly or not. The reality is that you have an excess of insulin in your body, which is hindering your ability to burn body fat. Insulin is a hormone that stores energy, so when it's present, your body won't prioritize burning fat. If you want to shed body fat, my recommendation to clients is to have 2 meals a day, sometimes 3 at most. Some of my clients even stick to just 1 meal a day as it allows for constant insulin control. Snacking is a big no-no as it's essentially the same as having a full meal. Back in the 90s, we were told to eat 3 meals and 3 snacks, but that's unnecessary. The snacks available nowadays like chips and chocolates cause a spike in our glucose and sugar, leading to fat storage. So avoid snacking altogether. Reduce your meal frequency to 1 or 2 meals a day if you are serious about extreme fat loss. Some people are accustomed to eating 6 meals a day to start with 3 and gradually decrease to 1. Stick with that routine for a while as it teaches your body to tap into its fat stores. Counting calories isn't necessary. Instead, focus on learning how to access your body fat. By controlling insulin, you will achieve this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel as it helps us grow and provide more content for you all. Still interested in making healthier choices? Click on the left thumbnail to check out my video on the difference between A1 and A2 milk and how it can impact your health. Click on the right thumbnail if you're looking for a little morning boost. Dive into my video on the 6 science-backed benefits of coffee and learn why it's not just a tasty drink but also good for you.